Hey everybody, we're live, and as I say, it's showtime, right? Thank you for staying with me through these delays. Just wanted to make sure everything was getting started, but I want to explain what's going on with. Excuse me for 1 second here. Freeze that with this title: Oakland must bring Major League Sports back to the Oakland-Alameda County Coliseum. That's what this is called, and the reason is that, well, it's many-fold, but and I actually wrote a whole piece on this on zenireport.com front 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 page. And so there's a large misunderstanding, a giant misunderstanding of how cities work that has brought us to this point. And where it is that and where it is that welcome everybody and thank you for joining me. I'm glad there's 4 watching. That's great. It's better than what I expected. And it's picking up. It's picking up. Since the loss of the Warriors first, then the Raiders, and now the Athletics, Oakland has not done anything to try to get Major League sports back in the town. Instead, with the Oakland Ballers, the Oakland Roots, and now cricket, we're still impacted by the decisions that were made by now recalled Oakland Mayor Shang Tao. This was her response to the loss of the Athletics to help boost the Oakland Ballers in West Oakland or Mondi Park, to help boost the Oakland Roots and get them at the Coliseum, which I think is, by the way, is a good thing, actually a great thing. And if you think about it now, this cricket effort started really under Shang's watch. And the idea was, hey, they're going to bring in 12,000 people per game. That was what they said, just 12,000. I would be delighted to give them a break if they brought in 10 or maybe 9. All right. But look at this is what is actually the result. This is the actual performance. Hey, John. All right. Um, hey, John, I'll get to that in a second. John asked this question. Let me deal with that in a second. But I wanted to show you and everybody else something that really was the trigger for me producing first the news commentary and then this. It's right here. All right. You see that? What's that? What is this? This is from last weekend. This is the cricket game. All right. This is the cricket game. And look, you don't have to look very closely to see that it looks more like a setup before, like on the early morning before redoing the field for baseball, right? When the A's were there, something like that, like way early in the morning, maybe even the previous day. But no, this is actually cricket. This is it. All right. And look at the seats. Look at nothing. All right. Nothing. Nowhere. All right. And not only that, that's not the only photograph. Okay. There's another one that I have. I want you to see that is coming up right now. I'm going to have transfer it over for my phone so you can get a view of it as well. And it is, let's see if I can actually bring it in here. I know I can. There's This new, this new. Hold on a second, folks. I gotta. Wait a minute, folks. I've got to. Hold on a second, folks. Let me take care of something. Hey, Eric. Thank you. Sorry about that, folks. All right. So this is the other picture. This is it. Take a look at this. All right. So if you take a look at this right here, this is the place where they cordon off the seat sale right here, right? And even then, if you take a look at the area here, you've got seats filled, but overall, they only attracted 5,100 people. That's it. 5,100. That's it. 5,100. And to show you even more how bad this situation is, I went and typed Oakland cricket attendance in Google and discovered that right here, right here, the result in Google search reads as follows. The first Major League Cricket MLC match at the Oakland Coliseum had an official attendance of 5,126 people. While the stadium has a capacity of around 40,000, the initial game was considered a success, with the crowd being described as genuinely loud and vibrant. The event was also compared favorably to the Oakland Roots soccer games held at the same venue. So basically, one minor league organization comparing itself to another minor league one, right? But get this. If you scroll down in this under more details, it reads initial goal right here. MLC hoped to initially attract around 12,000 fans to fill the lower bowl of the Coliseum. 12,000. So basically, this is, if I take that attendance figure, right, and run it through the calculator real quick, and what I find is that, excuse me, whoops, again, oh, come on. You try to do something quickly and sometimes things don't go well, right? Okay, hold on a second. That's, yeah. So basically, they received less than 50%, 42%, 42.71% of what they actually promised. They initially hoped to attract 12,000 fans. But then they say that despite not reaching the initial target, the atmosphere of the game was lively and the attendance was higher than most of the athletics games during their final season in Oakland. Okay. That's not saying much, right? Especially when you said, hey, we hope to attract 12,000. And then the organizers believe the Coliseum's large capacity and the strong presence of cricket fans in the Bay Area could lead to bigger crowds in the future. The event was seen as a positive development for Oakland sports, especially as the city seeks to maintain professional sports options after the departure of the Warriors, the Raiders, and the A's. All right, folks, look, this is not the way we've historically done it at all. Before I go into how we did it, let me next read out your comments right now, since they're appearing on the side here, which is kind of neat, isn't it? But let me go up and start here. Hey, and John writes, what major sport do you think has the best chance to come to Oakland in the future? John, I'll answer that in shorthand, and I'll get it in the longer hand later. The one that has the best chance is the one we put the most effort into getting. You have to remember, between the Roots, the Ballers, and cricket, we didn't go after them. Those efforts were formed, and they were brought to us, and they were brought to the mayor. That was Oakland Mayor Shang Tao. All right? But we have no example of anything that we went out and gone after. Now, contrast this to when we lost the Raiders the first time. We moved heaven and earth, first trying to sue the Raiders, then trying to lure them back. And finally, we had an assistance, simply the fact that the Raiders didn't play as well in the LA culture, and Al Davis got tired of losing, and he missed the atmosphere of Oakland and came back. Even then, he had still had one foot in LA as much as he had the other foot on the way to Oakland. But, okay. And hey, everybody, this is a great turnout. And so we have to go after what we lost. The facility, as it stands, was designed for Major League sports, both the arena for basketball, the NBA, and the stadium for the NFL and Major League Baseball. So what we should do is lay it out ahead of us. These efforts are small. and they don't reflect the actual capability of the facility, even in its less than state of the art by far state. Okay, they are really. Okay, so I got that for John. Welcome, Eric. And John says, I'm a little surprised that the Golden State Valkyries play in San Francisco, but actually practice at the Oakland Arena. Yeah, that was meant to really lock us in um, and trap us so that we would we would not be saying, hey, look, we need a WNBA team, but the bottom line is we don't get any benefit from it. They get the crowd. All right. They get to fill their bowl with 18,000 people and then have those 18,000 people spill out into the area and spend their money at the various restaurants, shops, and cafes. We don't get anything because we don't have the crowd. We have basically almost everything but that. All right. And it's not a good situation. Oakland should have its own WNBA team. Oakland should have its own NFL team. Oakland should have its own NBA team. All right. Uh, and so, hey, welcome, new subscriber. I subscribe to you. Welcome. Jerry Thrash, he says 5,000. There were A's games that drew less people. Right. But again, there are also A's games that drew many more times those people, even during the down periods um, before they were pushed out by Mamir Tao. And so Speed Dance says, why? San Francisco is right there and they have every sport. You don't need two bro teams within an hour of each other. Yes, you do. We have, and here's why I completely disagree with this. And look, I don't know where you're from, but the Oakland I lived in had two teams, the A's and the Raiders. Excuse me, the A's and the Giants. We have the Raiders and the 49ers. There are regions that are large enough to handle two teams. The Bay Area is one of those regions. Maybe you don't live in the Bay Area. The Bay Area is one of those places. LA is another, okay? And arguably, LA could have the Rams and another NFL team. It doesn't, it just has the Rams right now. It has two basketball teams. Same with New York. All right. The Bay Area is over, roughly 9 million people, just about. So no, not at all. We have enough people to accommodate two teams. That's to say that we don't have that is ridiculous. We do. We have the ability. All right. And so, but thanks for the comment, by the way. We have, let's see here. You said no sound? Oh, no sound because I turned the sound down. Right. I had to turn the sound down because it handles something here. So at any rate, let's see here. What we got here? So I got that one, and John Akala. Wait a minute. Okay. Then Akala says Valkyries also have their own offices in Oakland too. Right, but again, we don't get the crowd. We don't get what sports and sports tourism is about. When you fly to another city to see a sporting event, you're not going to the team's headquarters. You're not going to their practice facility. You're going because you have a ticket to see them or the team they're against, which maybe is why you're flying, in their arena, ballpark, or stadium. All right? The Ultimate Sports Network says, I officially started the College Football Hall of Good, but I don't have enough following to vote to put players and coaches, but I made on the list. Okay, fine. All right. But what do you think about this subject right now? So Denver Thurston says Oakland should push Major League Cricket team to get on cricket boards in Australia to support it, like the San Francisco Unicorn has with the New South Wales Cricket Board. I don't know how that works, but okay. Tom Dolan says Oakland isn't a major league town. No, Oakland is a major league town. What we don't have are people who know how to establish us as a major league town. We had that. You can't say Oakland isn't a major league town. We have major league sports. It's not that we're not a major league town. We are. We have the population size. We're in the middle of the Bay Area, which is 8 million. We're smack in the middle of it. We have the facilities, which just need upgrading. Both facilities have held some of the most important games in sports history. We have the infrastructure. We have the freeways that go by it. All right. Chuck McDickle says, what has made major sports organizations so skeptical about Oakland, even in future discourse? What has made is a question. He's saying, what has made major sports organizations so skeptical about Oakland, even in future discourse surrounding expansion teams? Because you have to put forth a proposal. You have to hire an architect. You have to set aside land. You have to assemble a funding plan and then present it. Oakland hasn't done any of that. That's a far cry from what we did after the Raiders left the first time. Okay? When the Warriors were threatening to leave, we rebuilt the arena for them. But when the Warriors were threatening to leave the second time, we didn't do anything. We allowed ourselves to get sandbagged by it. We didn't respond with a plan to upgrade the arena. We let them go. We didn't sue them on the way out the door, which is what we should have done. And we didn't say anything to the NBA about, hey, look, we'd love to have an expansion team. Here's our proposal. In short, we just let it happen to us. That's leadership, but that's what happened. Okay? And UNC, we miss you, he says. Sir Chai says, Tom Dolan, Oakland-Alameda, and Contra Costa County are a major league market. It was their turn to pay up for new facilities, and they balked, trolled, and got political. Now everyone loses. I essentially agree with that. I mean, we have gotten to a point where we don't understand what it means at any level to invest in businesses, either small businesses or large ones. And we believe that if you're a billionaire, you have to pay for everything, that you have to pay for the staffing that the city does and the whole 9 yards. We don't use tax increment financing. We don't know how to establish or design the right financing that makes a project work. We are totally, literally brain dead in those areas. Then he says, yeah, I did have a home call. Dash says, in the end, it's not up to the city, it's up to the leagues. That's not true, Jerry. Jerry, it's not true. He says the city can try as hard as they can, but the A's situation left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. Not true, Jerry. The city did not try. Don't give me that. Shang spent her time trying to fool the A's. The A's were already out the door November 25th, 2021. Before then, because they were already taking options on land around the Southern Nevada Valley, where Las Vegas is centered, and Clark County. So don't give me that, okay? That's not true. Okay, it's not true. I'm tired of people letting Oakland government off the hook. When I worked in Oakland government going all the way back to 1985 and 87, I'm sorry, and can tick it off the number of times that Oakland government made a difference in Oakland's economy, which is what a government is supposed to do, including getting the Raiders back, upgrading the Coliseum, on and on and on. Or even, let's take away from that, let's look at Oakland Airport and the tram that was built, okay? So that's not true. And Jerry says, I really can't see any of the leagues being that anxious to come back here. Jerry, we haven't went after them. I can see it, but that's the problem. No one ever has any vision for Oakland to begin with. That's the problem. You can't see it, I can. I can see us redeveloping the Coliseum complex into a tourism-based city within a city. We would have to establish a fund, just like we did with Howard Terminal, $1 billion bond proceeds backed by a revenue stream over 45 years of roughly $5 billion. Now, that's actually what was proposed for Howard Terminal. The trouble is that by the time the city finished it, the athletics were long gone. This was April 2023, when an incomplete infrastructure financing plan I found online said just that. And I have right here my computer. All right. So not true. Okay. Bill Gates says, as someone who has never been on the West Coast, I'm aware of the white wing poverty pimp propaganda of the Bay Area. Isn't the failure of Bay Area sports simply caused by low population of the city? No. I mean, let me show you why that's not the case. And it's very important to understand where Oakland is in the San Francisco Bay Area, okay? Because you don't have the right idea of the layout of the Bay Area. And here it is. This is the Bay Area, okay? So let me resize this right here. By the way, any donations are appreciated, folks. $2, $200, anything. But right here, okay? This is Oakland. Oakland is at the center of the San Francisco Bay Area, right there. It's at the center. And so if I get rid of this, excuse me, go back here, and then go over, if I center it here to Oakland, all right, there's San Francisco. But let's zoom in further. All right. They even took Oakland out here. But this is Oakland. All right. They don't even name Oakland anymore. This is horrible. I have to keep zooming in, and then now you see Oakland, all right? But Oakland, as you can see, is actually larger than San Francisco. All right? We're at the center of it. We're served by freeways from the north, from the west, from the east, south. We're at the center. We're at the geographic center of the Bay Area. So we're really the geographic capital of the Bay Area. We have Novato, Vallejo. When I formed the bid to bring the 2005 Super Bowl to Oakland, the NFL had this question: does the Coliseum have 24,500 top quality hotel rooms with an hour's drive of the stadium? That includes all of this. The answer is yes. Do you realize that the Oakland people who were involved before Robert Bob put me in charge said no? And that was back in that was back in 1999. All right. All right. So we have to properly present and sell Oakland. We don't do that. All right. We don't do that. Okay. So go back to the next one. He says population. Oh, got it. Eric Schwartz says, I went to a baseball game in Oakland a long time ago when they played the Giants in baseball game before the stadium was not used for basketball. Well, I don't understand what you're saying. You say in basketball game before this, but you just say you went there. Got it. Okay. So Chai says, Tom Dolan, also, if you look closely at the A's situation, look at how those last Daibar and Brody Brazil types didn't mention how to actually help fund the ballpark. A worldwide protest backfired. True. And then he goes on to say, I agree, Zenny. I believe all Oakland had to do is build one more building. Raiders and A's were more like two cousins sharing a bedroom. Then Jala Collins says, I think if the NBA came back or the WNBA came to Oakland, they would succeed at the Oakland Arena. Oh, very well. Very well. But we have to put together a proposal that shows that. So you can't just say, and this is the big problem. A lot of people think that because the Bay Area is beautiful, that organizations like the four majors should come to us. And that's not how it works. We have to sell the area. We have to present a funding package that works. We have to be the drivers. That's how it was in the past. All right? That's how it was in the past. And yeah, you have to spend some money to make money. And he says the MLC is definitely using the Coliseum in the future. It might be for cricket and the Olympics 3 years' time. Yeah, but this attendance has got to be improved. This is ridiculous. And here's my point. This is why we need a sports commission. It's not an either or. It's how can we accommodate all these sports operations? Cricket, the Roots, the Ballers, Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA. But we can't have these small organizations tying up the use of a facility designed for much larger leagues. That's a waste of money and time. It's not a good situation. John Acala says, AASCG should push to get a major league team in Oakland. Right. We need to do a proposal. Jerry Thrash says, that's what I'm saying. The leagues saw how Oakland handled the A's situation. They looked at our government. But Jerry Fresh, you don't understand. Our government isn't ran right. I'm not saying our government's right. It's not. We just came from recalling our mayor. This government, as it's ran, doesn't know how to do its own tax increment financing calculations. It doesn't know how to do the process for it. It doesn't have the will and the initiative to complete big projects. But that wasn't true in the past. We had people who could do that, and we have it today. All it takes is want to. What we don't have is want to. We don't have the will, okay? All right? And then Jerry Flash says the leagues all saw how Oakland mishandled the A's situation. They see this government's inability to get anything done and decide to go to a city that has its act together. But wait a minute. The city that has its act together does one thing. This is what you're missing, Jerry. Those cities are aggressive. All right? They're aggressive. Okay. I mean, Joe Lacob will tell you that with with respect to the our situation. How do I know? I interviewed him. Okay, it's right here on Zenny62 on YouTube. Okay, I interviewed him, and I'll show you that interview right now because you're new and you probably haven't seen it. But Joe Lacob will tell you that San Francisco was aggressive. Hold on a second, and that we had challenges. And this is in 2012. Okay, what you're about to see was in 2012. And that's right here. Let me open that real quick. And then, hold on a second. Let me put that right here. Okay, so let me go and get this interview. But I want you to, what Joe says here is very important to this discussion. And worth seeing yet again. Right here. So hold on a second. There. Oh, hold on a second. I've got to put this on echo. I have to turn off echo cancellation, folks. Hold on a second. So that's all. Okay. So now here's Joe Lacob. Let me see if I can hide that. Yeah. Here's Joe Lacob, folks. Right here. And whoa, hold on a second. How did that happen? Okay, go back and get that. And then where's Joe Lacob? Had Joe Lacob here. There he is. Okay, now, don't know how that happened. Let's have at it.
With everybody, and we're looking into all options, but he really came after us aggressively, and his staff, some of the people, Jen Matz was very involved in this, and I have to give them a lot of credit for being great visionaries and being entrepreneurs.
Hey, Joe, I have to ask, how much of this is criticism of the JPA Coliseum as a guy who worked for the Coliseum? I mean, what really started this in the Oakland?
There's no criticisms.
Okay,
I mean, clearly the previous ownership of the Warriors, not us,
right,
had issues that we all know in the courts with the JPA. When we came in, we did what we should do, which is settle all that. We wanted to have a clean slate, and we did that.
Right.
And we have a very good, I feel, a good working relationship with them. I do think it's not the easiest. It's a public venue. We don't have control of the venue. It's not the easiest thing to manage, and it's an old building, and there are a lot of problems. But that has really nothing to do with this. At the end of the day, we really looked everywhere and we said, where is the single best place if we're going to invest a lot of money? And in San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, wherever you are, California, pretty much, we knew it had to be, privately financed.
Right.
If we're going to write a check, if we're going to do that, we had to pick what was the best place for our fans, the best place for our investors, best place for everybody.
But Oaklanders are going to wonder, was Oakland aggressive enough in keeping you guys?
Well, I don't want to get in trouble with Mayor Kwan.
Right.
I think they're challenged because they have three teams that they're dealing with. And, in all fairness, I'm being empathetic here.
Yeah, I understand.
They have a difficult situation. And, it's not like they can go build 3 stadiums. That doesn't happen anymore in this day and age. So...
And what about redevelopment? Because redevelopment's killed.
Redevelopment monies went away. It's a difficult situation.
Right.
And I think that, they will be successful, I'm sure, at keeping at least one of those franchises. And they need to focus and work real hard to do that. We just felt for us, we're the first shoe to drop, I guess you could say.
Right.
But it just felt for us, we had to make an objective, independent decision that was the best thing for us long term. I think if you come here, you look at this, and you get approached by San Francisco in a way that was so aggressive, so entrepreneurial, so positive, it's kind of a hard package to beat.
What's the point?
I'm going to start right there. That's the point. Okay? Aggressive. We were not that. Okay? We were not that. Sir Chai says, when will Bart or Muty start herring again? That's a separate discussion. I don't know the answer to that question. I'll find out for another one, but I don't know the answer to that question right now. And so Phil Gates says, interesting, Oakland is presented to the rest of America as a drug-infested blank hole. Not shocked that's a lie. Well, it's because we've allowed, it's not really that way, But the problem is that when you don't have investment going on in the city, new businesses, buildings, we have some new businesses, but not a lot of new buildings being constructed, giant facilities to hire people. That's what you get, because that's what you get. And John says, do you see any chance the former Bay Area major league teams would ever consider playing a preseason game in Oakland? If we go after them. But again, we haven't gone after them. We haven't aggressively pursued these organizations. When Shang Tao met with Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred at the All-Star game last year, she went and took not people who get anything done, but her own staff. That's a signal that you don't understand the importance of impressing upon the commissioner that you can build a ballpark, that you're ready to partner with with Major League Baseball. It was just her basically trying to ram down the commissioner's throat the term sheet that they had wanted the A's to agree to. That's it. All right. It wasn't about, hey, here's how we can deliver. That wasn't it at all. Jason Cole says, this is Jason, not Jason Cole, the reporter, and I agree we need professional sports here in Oakland again. We need the Oakland government to visualize how sports in a city is a huge thing financially. Exactly. And that hasn't been done. You're absolutely right. And so those are, that rounds out everything. So what I'm going to do now, folks, is I'm going to read to you what I put out at zenireport.com. So you'll get a full picture of where I'm coming from, and can understand. And this is of course, the post. Oakland needs Major League sports. Oakland must bring Major League sports to the Coliseum. Minor league, not the answer. I'm not putting down these organizations. I'm simply stating a fact. All right. I'm simply stating a fact. John says, what has the new mayor said about getting a major league team in Oakland? She hasn't really said anything. And I think what she should do is, rather than say something, is present a plan. Show that she's ready to encourage investment in Oakland and do it in a way that hasn't been done in a long, long time. Sir Chai says, Oakland needs to get a heavyweight fight in Oakland. Right. We need WWE. Let me read this to you. This piece that I put together. And so it goes like this, folks. Cricket is at the Oakland Coliseum, and regardless of what the event producers say, the photos show a sea of empty seats. Beyond one incredible good start, the Oakland Roots, Oakland Ballers, and cricket games are not moving the needle in putting butts in seats. The answer of what to do next is clear. Oakland must make a focused and monetized effort to bring Major League sports back to the Oakland Coliseum. The lazy, politically based way must give way to a professional, focused effort. Oakland must stop thinking it's all that and admitting that it forgot how to do economic development, because it doesn't do it, then do it. But it doesn't, What does that mean? Oakland must stop saying it doesn't have money and use tax increment financing. First, it means stop crowing about not having money and start using tax increment financing to get money. The current crop of Oakland elected officials and public honchos think only in terms of grants and not in terms of what we used to do before 2011, tax increment financing. In 2011, then California Governor Jerry Brown made California Redevelopment Law dormant, thus eliminating the use of TIF or tax increment financing. One moment, please. Okay, folks, hold on a second. All right. So, yeah. So, okay. So as I was saying, Oakland has never made a serious effort to use tax increment financing since then California governor signed the Son of Redevelopment legislation called SB 628 Beal into law September 29th to 2014, and later California Senator Nancy Skinner worked with Oakland A's President Dave Cobble to make SB 293 Skinner, and California Governor Gavin Newsom signed that into law October 19th of 2019. Today, we have variations of that law that allow taxing and financing revenue to be used for fire station construction. That's AB 1819 Walton. Revival of pandemic harmed small businesses. That's AB 464 Mullen. And on top of that, the designer law of SB 293 Skinner that was made for Oakland for Howard Terminal and the A's. What did Oakland do with it? What Oakland has done since I tried to bring the 2005 Super Bowl to Oakland. Slow poked, frankly, and acted on its own time rather than the developer's time or the NFL's time in the case of the Super Bowl. Oakland lacks a sense of urgency to do economic development. Second, we need to have a sense of urgency. The word sense of urgency has no meaning right now. Even the Oakland Chamber of Commerce reflects that position and acts more in self-interest than anything that realizes a fundamental improvement in Oakland's economy. And that's how else to explain why Oakland has not recovered from the pandemic and is now plagued by calls back to a council manager form of government. That's Stephen Falk's thing, okay? As if that will solve the problem. No, it won't. The problem is basically we are as a culture in Oakland collectively lazy. That was the problem back then, and it's the problem now, and it's worse. So we push responsibilities back 12 to 18 months, as the Oakland City Administrator told the Alameda County Grand Jury last fall, or when in point of fact, that technology strategic plan for police he was talking about can be written in one day or less. All right? All these problems of Oakland organizational culture are the norm. And the way to stop it is to impose work projects that have deadlines reflecting urgency. With respect to sports, we have no plan or proposal to get Major League Baseball back to Oakland. Why not start with bringing the A's back here after 2 years until Las Vegas ballpark is ready, right? And then, right? And then, I mean, doesn't that make sense? Okay. The only reason the A's left prematurely was the now recalled mayor of Tao was, look, trying to extort the organization for $90 million. Now that Shang is gone, we need to go after the A's. And then, as we're doing that, Oakland needs to implement the tax increment financing plan that I rolled out in a presentation in the Oakland County Sports Coliseum Joint Powers Authority. It's November 2023 meeting. In fact, they should just hire me, folks. Someone said, why don't you just say you want the job? Yeah, I want the job. I've said that for years. Oakland needs to establish a giant enhanced infrastructure financing district in Coliseum, East Oakland. We need to set a target base year assessed value of $2 billion for the enhanced infrastructure financing district, which is what that is, folks. It used to be called they used to call them redevelopment project areas, and you set these boundaries around this area, and the property tax payments that are made that go in part to the city, in part to the county, and part to the flood control district. The school district still gets theirs, okay, but the rest of it goes to what we used to call redevelopment agency, and now it's called the Public Financing Authority. We haven't established any of this. We haven't done any of this, okay? All right? But anyway, we need to establish, and so what happens is that when you do that in that area, all that money goes all to the Public Financing Authority, and it uses that money to float a bond issue, all right? So my recommendation is we establish the boundaries for this EIFD that includes an area from the San Leandro border to the Oakland Airport to 50th Avenue to the north and San Leandro Boulevard along the east. Then gain developer partners, write an infrastructure financing plan, form a public financing authority, design a bond issue, and then approve and implement the whole deal and make magic happen. Then, as that's being planned, Oakland needs to establish and fund a sports commission. Its existence should be paid for by a combination of private business, Oakland Economic Development Department, and Visit Oakland funds. Each organization will be required to work together and adjust each budget to reach an inaugural $300,000 base level organizational budget for the Oakland-Alameda County Sports Commission with a timely performance-based plan to build it to $5 million. Oakland needs a sports commission. The Oakland-Alameda County Sports Commission would be the place where the Oakland Roots and the Oakland Ballers can come for business assistance and marketing help. The Oakland-Alameda County Coliseum Sports Commission will be able to activate the right civic resources and the public and private sector to focus on helping those organizations grow and jumpstart economic development efforts where those teams are located in Oakland. The Oakland-Alameda County Sports Commission would be the sports organization incubator helping to get new made in Oakland sports teams off the ground. And it would make sure to do everything possible to keep them in Oakland. The Oakland-Alameda County Coliseum Sports Commission would make pitches for sports events to come to Oakland. There are over 200 events annually. The Oakland-Alameda County Coliseum Sports Commission will go after those that meet our current facility capabilities and provide a beacon to our facility improvement plans to increase our event handling capacity. The Oakland-Alameda County Coliseum Sports Commission will also figure out how Oakland can establish its own sports events and then do it. This organization will be tasked with moving Oakland into the new era of sports tourism. Oakland must bring back Major League Sports. That's NBA, MLB, and NHL, and NFL. The Oakland-Alameda County Oakland-Alameda County Sports Commission would also work with the Coliseum and Economic Development to bring back Major League Baseball, the National Football League, the National Hockey League, and the National Basketball Association back to Oakland. That means lobbying for team relocation or expansion and making Oakland a perennial candidate in both categories on a regular basis until our objective is met. In closing, that's what we need to do because our current do less effort is gaining, well, nothing. You can see it. Oakland can do better and Oakland must do better. And that's what I'm saying, okay? All right? And so, I'm getting comments here. Jerry Thrash now says, he says, Oakland government, yes, the Oakland government needs to be aggressive and visualize pro sports, but Oakland can barely fund its police and libraries. The government has Jerry, no. I just spent, I don't know how much time talking to you about tax increment financing, okay? And tax increment financing we used before Jerry killed it. Now it's back. And it is as I described it. We used it from everything from moving crack houses in East Oakland to paying a good percentage of the salaries of Oakland employees. That's true. It kept us out of large deficits, unlike today. And yet you say this to the current crop of people who are in city staff and then also council, and it just says, well, it's way over my head. Well, it wasn't over their heads back then in the 20th century. Are you saying they were smarter then than now? Right? Okay. So no. We simply lost our way in terms of understanding how to pull the levers of government to create investment from the government itself. That's the problem. And these ways to do this are out there. I can do it. You put me in charge, I'll have this started. And we'll finish it in 8 months. Guaranteed. All right? Guaranteed. Jerry says, you should get those city officials in the classroom and give them a master class on how TIF works. I would be delighted. Thank you. John says, has AESCG already taken control of Coliseum Complex in Oakland, or is it still pending? It's not. The bonds have to be defeased, and that will happen February of 2026. After February. Well, February 26th it'll happen. Then after that, yes. Okay. So there's that one. So yeah. So hey, thanks everybody for watching and your donations and your time, your visits, and everything else means a great deal to me. And join our membership too. We have a membership club per month. It's as little as $3, roughly $3 per month. We have a higher tier for $24 a month as well. And something else too. If you are in a situation where you don't like the news about you, and someone has, or some news organization has written things about you that are not true, and you don't know what to do, turn to Zenny62 Media. Zenny62 Media at zenny62media.com. We can solve your problem for you. We will tell your story. We will tell your side of the story. This is the website. Please visit. You can also put donations. You want to donate to what we're doing, right? Or if you want to become an investor, here, this will tell you what we're all about as an investor, for investors, potential investors here, and our cost of operations and our investment that's needed here. It's all there. And under show more, if you want to, that's for investors, but if you want to invest in Zenny62 Media here, all right, if you press that button, it'll actually take you to our PayPal page. Thank you, John. And here's our PayPal page is right here, which there, and that's our PayPal page. So that $1,000 is written there. It'll be fantastic. Anyone could do that. That'll be a world saver for us. But you can also put in, hey, John contributed $2. Thank you, John. And thank you very, very much. So we are a C Corp, a Delaware C Corp. 27% of our stock is unallocated. We will be delighted to have you as an investor in our company. So visit our site, please. Zenny62media.com. And send us a note regarding your interest, any questions you have, and we can go from there. Right here. All right. Investor information. All right. Hey, so thank you, everybody. I'll be back. I've got more coming, and any follow-up you want done on this, let me know. Please share this on your Facebook page, in your Facebook groups, and on your Twitter or Blue Sky or Truth Social. I don't care where you're at. Put it on there. In fact, Truth Social, that's a good idea. I'm spreading it out everywhere because people need to hear this message, and it's good for the media, Zenny62 Media too. All right. So I believe I've got everybody's feedback here, and it is now 7 minutes. All right. Thank you, everybody. That ends the stream. Thank you very much.